Okay. And the overlay looks great. All right. So, session 12 for my beautiful boys in Group 1. Last episode, the ring breakers prepared themselves for a long journey ahead. From the outskirts of Eloy Vale to the vast mountain city of Fury Keep, where Sindri regularly makes his trips, and to where DeLorean wanted to make his new start. The gang woke up to a new day in the Vale after each of them had life-altering dreams the night prior, which only a few of them dared to touch upon during their waking hour. DeLorean was outside tending to a few final chores in his now empty house as Sindri pulled up with his 6-horse and double-long carriage ready to embark on a journey with its passengers. With a final glance back towards everything they knew, the Ringbreakers left the East Arc and moved swiftly through the streets with which they were familiar and sorry, I lost my place. And went along to the unknown roads of the West Arc and their ilk. A quick explanation from Sindri about the area explained that this particular arc was the most politicized as well as polarized, right down to the very garb that they were wearing. After this march, the carriage took a back way out of the territory through the trash incineration pits in an attempt to avoid any confrontation with Lord Baskins, a gesture that ultimately failed when the noble himself was waiting for the team on the last possible inch of land that fell under his claim. The esteemed elf made a subtle play on words that did not escape the team's notice to Antra, whom was not in attendance at the departure. With a final dirty look shot at Erevan, Lord Baskins left them to their journey, with the slighted wood elf trying to decide very carefully if he should keep his weapon holstered. Outward they traveled over the sprawling plains, the rolling hills, over flowing rivers, under flowing rivers, and under the sun towards Fury Keep. A calm journey accompanied by a change in weather from the welcoming climate of the forest to the unforgiving cold snaps of the mountains. Just as they neared their final arrival to the mountain-dug metropolis, a strange troop of blue-skinned creatures caught their eye as the most alien of the races they have seen thus far on their journey. But without distraction, they continued to the main gate of Fury Keep, where we begin this session. July 2nd, 2997. So, to set the scene, everything you guys have seen at this point, after you guys were brought to Eloy Vale, has mostly been a pretty flat city. There were some vertically climbing buildings within Eloy Vale, really not very many. And as far as the mountain goes, Harratuk is very familiar with the mountain. He has been this close before, but not necessarily from this particular side or in this weather.
Hey Joe.
Yes.
What did you say the year was again?
2997.
Gotcha. July 2nd.
Yes. not May.
Yep.
Angene has been more mountain adjacent, although he has heard a plethora of stories from Sarosa, who has talked about her hometown on the mountain's edge, further up in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Karl has seen an inverted mountain, where they dug downwards versus it climbing to the sky. Alena has always been able to see the mountains from a distance, not in any great detail, of course, but she has seen them. And Erevan really has only heard of them. He's only heard of them. They'd be way too far away for him to see. I think geographically on the opposite side of the world, if I can think of my map correctly. So to Angene and Alena for the most part, and then as well as Erevan, of course, this is splendor and majesty in its most solidified grandeur, if that's a word, in its grandeur. the way the mountains climb towards the sky and reach beyond the clouds, the way the snow accentuates the deep cracks and crevices and drops and falls along its surface, into how the city itself built into the mountain. And you guys will get more descriptions of their buildings later. How they made this their home, despite the weather, despite the altitude, despite the challenges. This is their home. And for I think all of you, this is probably the most bitter, biting cold you have felt. I mean, you've certainly experienced winters, but not quite to this degree. And so as you guys begin approaching their territory, the first thing that you guys can see, sort of beyond this wall, you can see some kind of reaching towers and spires, but they're quickly covered over by the granite-clad archways that stand before you as you guys continue to head towards the territory. These massive archways have these significantly larger torch-like objects that stand between the arches on the walls, each one with their own brilliant flame burning even into the daylight, because I believe it's we left off like a new day last time when you guys arrived at the city. So the further into the archways that you guys go, that climbs some 100 feet into the air above you, you guys break the threshold under the arch, and it suddenly becomes very apparent to you guys that while on the outside you could see a number of archways, and it looked as though you could see right through them into the city, actually crossing the threshold, that view you had of the city beyond kind of fades in an instant from everything you could see, and you can now see that where your one archway where you entered, that shapes its own room around it, and the people you could see going left into their arches and the people to the right you could see going into their arches, they aren't here. There are only the people who entered this particular archway with you. I'm going to turn down Hydra just a little bit real quick. So you guys, Sindri is driving. DeLorean is in the carriage with Karl, let's say, and then there's room for the rest of you guys up top. Because I think either, I can't remember if it was Erevan or Harratuk, one of you was like riding the carriage, like on top of it, behind the seats.
It wasn't me. I know that.
Either way, you guys can see this transformation takes place as you could see all of the mountains in the daylight in full view, to where now you are in this enclosed room. It's still very large and there's plenty of room for everyone, but still the kind of instant shift that took place is a little unsettling. The further in that you guys travel into this space, you can see sort of a handful of guards at the very far edge of this enclosed room, so you can't see daylight anymore. There's daylight shining in, but there is ceiling coverage. And beyond those 5 guards at the very end, there is a single similar granite door, arched door that has a split down the middle, and it is closed and sealed. And you guys can see them. They're addressing the crowd. You can see them casually answering questions, like pointing to people, like, "What's your question?" We'll get to that. Similar situation. And as you guys continue inward into this space, you notice very quickly the temperature is not nearly as biting cold as it was. It is much warmer instantly. The winds that were shaking the air have all but stopped. Sorry, man. And the most notable was the ambient noise that was going on around you by other horse-drawn carriages, by other people talking and having their own conversations. All of that has been significantly dampened as well. I'm trying to get my chair to stop squeaking. Try this. Sorry, it's distracting me to no end. So with the sound drop that took place, that one is the most significant and the most apparent to you, and the ambient temperature kind of is next in line for you guys to notice. So a few moments pass as the room continues to fill with people, strange creatures, much like yourselves, but not any more strange than the blue kind of alien creatures you guys had seen prior. A lot of humanoid creatures. So time continues on as the room fills up, and eventually you guys can hear, you can see the guards kind of gesturing their hands downward as if to silence the crowd, and they wait a few minutes for that to take place. And the guard in the center, they all have the same kind of armor. The guard in the center has long black hair that drapes over his face. Can't necessarily see his ears if you're trying to discern if he's more human or elf, but he appears to be humanoid and has very pale skin coloration. So he makes the gesture for all to silence themselves, and you can see him touch a small crest that's built into his armor, a small diamond-shaped crest. And as soon as he touches it, it very faintly glows. And you can hear his voice booming over the crowd now. You could see him talking before, but you couldn't hear him at all. But as soon as he makes contact with this piece, his voice begins to boom. Good evening, everyone. Can you all see me? And he continues to hold it. Can you all see me? Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
And you know, Sindri and DeLorean, they all make their emotions like yes. Excellent. Excellent. Let me be the very first to welcome you to Fury Keep. For those of you who have been here before, you know the breakdown. You know I'm going to go over a few rules before we let you into the city. To those of you who are new here, I welcome you twice. Welcome, welcome. There are a few things you must know before entering the city. Rule number 1, you must keep your weapons holstered. We allow you to keep them on good faith, but should we receive a report, there will be a follow-up investigation, and your belongings will be confiscated. Should there be a second report, a second credible report, I should say, because we have had false allegations and that's a whole mess. Should there be a second credible report, all of your belongings, prior to investigation, will be absconded. Your private residence will have entry prevention, and we will be going through your personal things. So let's just be kind, be smart, and be respectful. That is the most I can ask from you. Rule number 2, there is no magic of any kind allowed in the streets without proper licensing. Those of you who have been here before, you know this to any new faces, and I am seeing many new faces. You are able to acquire a license through the Masonic Defender Headquarters. For those of you who do not know who that is or where it is, we, and he gestures to all of the guards next to him, are the Masonic Defenders. And our headquarters is located on the lower rung, and he points southward, on the lower rung of the city. Are there any questions? And he waits for a moment, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to shout them out.
Nope.
Well then. And he gestures.
Oh, does healing magic count?
And he like looks around in the crowd. You there? Yes. We do have certified healers throughout the city. They are not difficult to find. If you are not licensed, and that would be the first thing we ask for upon finding casters, please do not interfere. And he looks. Good question. Good question.
No magic.
And he like waits. Okay. And you can see he removes his hand from his crest, and you can kind of hear some mumblings as the other 4 guards who were around him, 2 on the left, 2 on the right side of the doors. They each grab like this thick black metal handle, and he makes this grand gesture outward. Welcome to Fiore Keep. You may now enter. And the doors part, and you guys can feel that wind come in again, and the biting cold. And Sindri kind of, as the wind hits his face, he can see that all of you guys are really not properly dressed for this. I will make arrangements to make sure you are all properly clothed. I just need to find where that may be. And he looks at Harratuk. And if they have your size. So you guys begin moving inwards to Fury Keep for the first time, and the majesty of the city is not lost on you guys. You can see vast and various tall climbing buildings. Well, let's describe the shape of the city first. As you guys come in through the gate, there is a steep stair drop downwards. And there's ramps for the carriages, of course, and you guys can see an overview of the city. If you haven't seen the picture in the Discord, I highly recommend looking it up. Although this particular spot you probably won't be able to see, if I remember correctly. You guys can look over the main body of the city. There are several dozen of these large-looking tile flats. What are they called? Not quads, but these large mosaic floor pieces that kind of break up the monotony of the homes that are built within, or the homes and businesses, buildings that are built within this massive center of space that lies below the mountain. And you can see climbing the left side all around you and the right side all around you are these 2 long arms that reach out in kind of a crescent shape with the mountain. And edge to the back to the other edge, there are buildings built into the very stone. And some of them appear to be small homes. You can see almost cave-like dwellings in some portions, although they're much more elaborate entryways with arches and fanciful stone and signage built into the rock, as well as buildings that appear to be built from the rock. So where they carved a home out of it rather than into it. And then there is kind of a fusion of the two, where there are homes or buildings where there was a location dug out for them, but they insourced various materials that you guys can see to make this ornate display of buildings. Each building with their own, I don't want to call it stained glass, but that like lead pane glass that used to be prevalent everywhere with those diamond cuts and the thick metal latticing. Mm-hmm. And as you guys, and much to Angene's panic, I suppose, there are several dozen prominent water features throughout the entire city. None of them are like rushing water underfoot, but he can kind of trace like way in the distance up in the mountains, like there's a waterfall over there, and he can see fountains and free-falling water features between buildings, around buildings, coming from buildings, everything. And as Sindri pulls the carriage further into the city, he is stopped immediately by the guard. Hold, sir, hold, sir. The same black-haired one that you guys had seen. You look familiar. And he... Oh, yes, and he pulls out a piece of paper. I am Sindri. Sindri Olefen. I've been here many, many times. And he unfolds the paper. Ah, I think I remember you. The one with the valuable contraband, is it not? And Sindri, you can sense a byplay between them. Yes, but this time I had the foresight to mail it, so that way you can't take it from me. And then, he ha ha ha, there's a little joke between them. And he looks at each of you. It's quite a merry band. I don't think I've seen them before. And Sindri looks at you kind of like, hey, be cool.
Elena's waving.
Yeah.
Hello.
Why don't I have 4 players tonight, so he will look at 1, 2, 3, 4. Harratuk. Harratuk, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi. I'm Harratuk.
And the guard is looking you up and down I've never seen a minotaur before. Interesting. I've never seen a minotaur before, he says super bluntly. I've heard of your kind. I've read much about them, or at least to what I have available at my disposal. You're very large. Your horns, they are quite significant. I don't...
Yep.
He, looks at the other guards, I don't know if we would classify that as a weapon, so we can't really confiscate it if there's a problem. He's joking with you. But... Okay. And where are you from? And Sindri, we are coming from Ilwy Vale, as my papers will dictate. Yes, yes. Hold for one moment, just over there, please. And Sindri, okay. He begins to step off to the side. And you guys are waiting for maybe a half hour for them to get back to you. The city does not lose any of its beauty, as you guys can still sit and admire if you choose to. And after a few minutes, one of the guard comes back over, hands Sindri's paper. We have received a... Sorry, I'm mixing voices. We have received a special request from Amaris that you are to remain within the city for the next 72 hours. Please do not exit the gates, or that will cause much problem for you. And Sindri looks at you guys we certainly do not wish to cause Amaris? Guard nods. We certainly do not wish to cause Amaris any trouble. We will, and he looks at you guys very carefully, we will remain within the city.
I guess. I mean...
And he's just nodding yes, we will.
We just got here, so I'm not trying to leave anyways.
We really didn't have anything going on yet.
And the guard kind of, he doesn't roll his eyes at you guys, but he gets it. I understand. It's a wonderful city. Are you first-timers?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
This is my first time here.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And he points out to the middle of the mountain where you guys can, the mountain climbs up to the sky. And more towards the middle, which is the thickest part. So all around you guys can see the walls built into the city. What am I trying to say here? The buildings extend all over the mountain, and their fortified walls are in some places beyond the homes, and in other places it looks like they built homes beyond the wall, if that tracks. So it is a very large mixture of where these locations are. And he points like dead center, where the tallest, most ornate buildings and spires you guys can see lie. They have the most ornate bridges that span these large gaps between them. That. Some say that the... I'm mixing voices again, I'm sorry. I'm out of practice. That right there. Some people say that the mountain... These are the Drake Crag Mountains, if you're not familiar with them. That these are the Majesty of Camarilla. But we like to think that the university, that is the true pride of Camarilla. The University of Camarilla is the premier arcanic institution, where the furthest research into the ebullience ether has been derived. If you do have time to visit it, I cannot recommend it enough. Please enjoy your stay. Do not leave the city.
What's your favorite shop to go to?
And he's like, well, that's a good question. I must confess, I do not shop much in my free time. I am, you bring up a good point. As I was about to bring up, I am a holy man. I believe that devotion to my God supersedes all natural powers. You do not have to worship the legally recommended faiths. There are a few of them. You are not obligated to worship them. However, should you believe anything outside of these faiths, that you please do so in the privacy of your own quarters and not in the public space. This is not as severe as drawing your weapons, of course, but it is severe nonetheless.
Ooh.
Yes. So please do be careful.
And which faiths are allowed to be practiced, and which ones aren't?
Of course. We have 3 major beliefs. We worship Tyr, the god of justice. Yes. You will see his holy establishments adorned with a set of scales that rest upon a warhammer. Helm, the god of protection. You will see his places of worship as a gauntlet adorned with an eye, like an eye. And Azuth, the god of wizards, those who keep this place functioning, and who further our knowledge and technology every day. They will have a left hand pointing upwards, outlined in fire. Those are the main 3. And sort of as he's going over this, you guys remember while you were traveling the heavy rumbling that the trains caused the first time you guys had seen trains as they rumbled past you. You can see here again, as you guys are waiting and talk with him, most of the crowd has dispersed lower into the city, and you can feel the vibration of the train coming again. Although now it's a little bit more muted and it's quieter for sure, but you can still detect it nonetheless. And you can see now it's a bit highlighted sort of around the entire ring, and it dips in and weaves itself through the city where train tracks go. You can see one train where the cars are connected. At one point, you're not really sure where, you can't see that far, the cars split and they each go down their own tracks, as well as other parts where they merge and separate again. And 4 again. Harratuk, make a perception check. See if you can see this. You're muted if you said something.
3.
3.
3.
So, as the rumbling continues on, Harratuk he glances, trains. The rest of you can just see something moving by rather quickly, a little blurry. Whatever it is that is moving, this large object appears to be resting on a flat bed of some kind. And it has a very peculiar shape to it. It seems like there is a dome of some kind and something very long protruding out of it, but the entire thing is wrapped up in cloth, so there's not much more detail other than that you can see. And you can see the guard kind of waiting for everything to pass. Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, sorry for the disruption. The trains come and go at all hours of the day. The University of Camarilla is the pride of Fury Keep. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, please, enjoy your stay. Ask the guard if you have any questions of any kind. And don't cause trouble, yeah?
Thank you very much. We will try and stay out of trouble.
Excellent, I'd love to hear that. Onward, Sindri. He just gives him a little nod as you guys continue into the city. So as you guys begin to re-merge, not re-emerge, but re-merge with the crowds, this is Angene, Erevan, and Karl. And actually, I will include Harratuk in that too. This is the most densely populated area you've ever been in. Angene has maybe seen this like once, and for like a few hours. Like maybe if there was a prominent festival, he's seen this number of people in this area all over the place.
Right. Yep.
I will say Alena has seen similar numbers of people from her walks, shall we call them. And Sindri, as he is just very carefully guiding the carriage through the streets, really trying not to get in anybody's way because there are that many people. He looks around. There is someone I'm looking for, or his residence, rather, but I can't remember where it is. Why don't you all get a grasp of the city and explore and see what you can find? And I'll find a way to contact you once I find this place.
Sounds good. I guess we'll go explore a little bit.
Be safe, be smart, and Karl will be with you guys. Just there's only one thing I know that he wants to chime in on, but other than that, we'll come to that.
What's the easiest way to make some money around you?
Are you asking Sindri?
Yes.
So he was like just getting ready to like go off, and he woo woo to the horses. I know for a fact there are prostitute rings, if you so desire to pursue that route. And he's like starting to get a little red in the cheeks. Not that I would know. I have preferred to take the selling route, not of my body, of materials, of course. I'm sure there's non-sexual paid work around here for you, somewhere. Anywho.
I'm gonna lean into Alena and whisper really quietly. Aren't we supposed to be getting paid now?
I thought so.
I don't really want to
Maybe
ask,
he-
but I kind of want
maybe
to
he-
ask.
Maybe he doesn't have it yet?
Or did he forget?
I think you should ask, just to make sure.
Wait. Let me ask Angena. And then I'm going to whisper the same thing to Angena.
Just like leaning between people.
Yeah. Angena, are we supposed to get paid now or later?
He did say when we got to the city, and I'd say
we're at
we're
the
here. And I
You
just
should
go
ask.
ahead and speak up.
Exactly what Adam wanted.
You've manipulated me well.
Well, I mean, if we're supposed to explore and shop, we might want a little spending money.
Walking around money.
Mr. Sindri, sir, I was wondering, our contract, if you will, to get us here, or to get you here and to accompany you and Mr. DeLorean, I believe we have reached and arrived in Fury Keep now, so I was wondering when we would be able to receive our pay so that we might enjoy the town and better.
So Sindri looks like insanely confused. Like looking around.
Where did you say DeLorean went off to? Is he still here?
He's still in the cart, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, that's right. Yeah.
Sorry.
I feel like. Wait. I'm sorry. No, that's right. I meant to ask Mr. DeLorean this. Not you. I apologize for the confusion.
And Sindri's like, oh yeah, that tracks. And DeLorean, yeah, he's still in the back, and you see him kind of snap out of a thought, just waving to my buddy Sino. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm just pausing for a second. He got his new emotes. He has like a rolling watermelon crocodile. That's amazing.
Love it.
And yeah, you snapped DeLorean out of whatever thought he was going through. Yes, I heard you. Yes, you are quite right. I must get to a bank to receive the full amount, I suppose. Sindri, where are we? Who are we meeting? I don't know anyone here. Is there a bank? And Sindri goes, yes, we're meeting an old friend of mine, Nero Evander. I have to find him wherever he may be. He's almost harder not to find, and you'll understand what I mean. Yes, there are banks here. We'll look for those as well. Ah, yes, of course. So he reaches around. Here we are. And he'll hand it to, just keep rolling, to Alena. Well, Alana, as DeLorean calls her. Alana?
Yes.
Please come forward.
I step forward.
And so he's talking to Angena and Alana. Hands you a leather pouch. There is... And he looks around. There's some space, but... Excuse me. It's between you guys and the crowd. There is 200 gold pieces. Please don't this is a gambling city from what I hear. Do not spend it all in one go. Don't buy the first shiny thing you see, of course. But I believe this should be ample funds for you to be able to get by, should we have any difficulty finding his old friend.
Oh, that was
Thank
very
you.
generous of you, sir.
I owe you all a great deal more than what I could possibly pay you. And I hope for now that this is enough.
Oh, of course.
It's perfect for right now. Well, that'll definitely get us started.
Wonderful.
So we each get 40 gold. I split that 5
Well,
ways.
You split into 5. Okay. Let me
Yep.
let me message
So-
that to Matt real quick.
Karl will get 40 gold, and so will everyone else.
Indeed. Updating now.
Do we know how
Yes.
much money we had before?
It
I
was
had-
different for everybody.
Yeah.
I think you had like some copper. I think that was about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna happen to win some money, so I have 47
Yes, you did have a few gold pieces from gambling. Yeah.
I found money on the ground, so I had 17 silver and 2 copper.
Gains is
Oh, yeah.
gains.
now. I got the money.
Don't forget about the money. So.
Are there
let's-
artificers in this?
I don't know.
We have to look around.
Wonderful.
So
Excellent.
I will go down the list. What is something Alena would be looking for on their walk through town?
Oh. Probably armor upgrade. It's something that's better than just the chainmail she has.
Just a chainmail, yeah. Angene?
Angene is kind of just going to be taking in the sights, kind of looking around, kind of just being friendly, walking.
Hello.
Just-
Hello.
Also, looking for if he hears the sound of music, he's just going to follow it.
Yep.
So that's what Angene is up to.
Harratuk, anything he would be looking for in the city?
I think he'd stop at a couple of food like vendors. Like
Try the local cuisine.
yeah, like every other one they pass, he wants to look at the menu.
Is he just looking, or would he be buying anything?
He's buying food and eating it.
Okay, let me ask you, would he... This is probably the most money he's ever seen at one time, anyway, that he's had to just spend. Would he go for, like, lower quality food, medium quality food, upper quality food?
Just like a quick bite. Like
But quality is
Street.
the question.
like meat, like a street vendor, like a hot dog, like
Like a hot dog!
He wants a street dog.
Okay, roll a d8.
I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, we'll take a break after this roll then.
Oh, okay, sure.
And then
that's an 8. That's an 8.
and real quick before we take a break, Adam, would Erevan be looking out for shops, like what he asked the guard?
Yeah, he'd be looking for maybe somebody that would potentially sell firearms, or a blacksmith, or an artificer, hopefully, of some sort. Somebody that is educated in crafting, just to see like their knowledge, and hopefully be able to find somebody to kind of go over his pistol with and the shot, and see kind of like where things can go, because I assume we'll probably be around Fury Keep for a little while, and might want to work out a contract with like an artificer or somebody to work on some stuff.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Okay, we will take a 10-minute break, and we will come back. And Jake, the D8, Jake spends, Harratuk spends 8 silver pieces on very fine food.
Nice.
Now we'll be back.
it is amazing how some of like the big names in voice acting, it's like, wait, he was that person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura Bailey is like literally everything.
Yeah.
Well, Grey Delisle, like Azula, Vicky from Fairly Odd Parents. She was also Tootie.
Well, Tara
Strong.
Tara Strong, for that matter.
Tara
Yeah.
Strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a funny one about Tara Strong. So in Family Guy, when Meg got that like makeover thing, and she became like a pop star as a result, Tara Strong was the one who sung her song instead of I think Mila Kunis was her voice actress at that point.
Yeah.
But Tara Strong was, because I heard it one day, I was like, that sounds a lot like fucking Tara Strong. Oh my god, it is Tara Strong. And one last like, oh, that's kind of a cool connection moment. The person who voiced on Family Guy, the lady who voiced Diane Chambers, the news anchor, is the same voice of Pearl from SpongeBob. It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She has these like ads that go through my voice acting stuff, and I was like, oh my god, you son of a bitch. That's who you are.
Yep.
Don't forget about Johnny Bosch.
Oh my god, dude. The Red Ranger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he Trigun is my favorite show where he was.
There's also Ichigo.
Ichigo. I never saw Bleach. That's Bleach, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's been on a lot.
Same with the dude who voices. There's two of them. Mugen from Samurai Champloo, and he's also I haven't seen Cowboy Bebop either, but I know he's the voice actor in that one as well. The dude with the crazy hair.
Mm-hmm. One.
He's a really distinct voice actor.
Matt Mercer as well. Aside, I mean, in terms of
Yeah.
the amount of stuff that he's been in.
Matt Mercer is
Troy Baker.
He's the kind of guy where like. So when Fire Emblem Awakening came out with Chrom and Lucina, Laura Bailey was Lucina. Chrom was like 3 major characters who like interact with each other regularly, and I had no idea until I saw the credits, and I was like, yep, now I hear it.
It tracks.
Like,
it tracks.
Like 3 of them, like they interact regular. Their voices aren't that different, but I just never picked up on it. I was like, fuck, like you talented son of a bitch. But back to session 12. Let's do Alena and Erevan. Give me perception checks, both of you. Both of you.
It's not great, but
22.
Fuck, 12. No, sorry, perception, 13.
Okay. So, as you guys are exploring the city and it is quite a bit of it is snow covered. There is enough buzz and enough energy between the crowds where you guys are able to stay warm for the most part. It's definitely cold, but it's not unbearable cold. And obviously you get some looks from some of the local people around, but it's not unbearable by any means. And and you guys are seeing these intricate little tile mosaics of the flooring that makes up the ground for everywhere where you guys are going in the cities. Up the stairs into buildings, some of the fountains that haven't completely frozen over, and you guys can see the ornate displays that are around them. Some of them are general patterns, checker patterns. Some of them are depictions of what you guys would recognize as farming and other sort of laborious tasks that they are celebrating. And other ones seem to be very similar to the religious iconography that the first guard that you guys had interacted with, what he described, you can see, they're square tiles, so it's almost like a 16-bit representation of the scale with the hammer on it. Helm was the glove with the eye, and a Zuth, I believe, was the third one, is the pointed finger, strewn throughout the entire city, and as well as in some decorative glass. Erevan with the 22. So you guys each kind of converse, like what you would like to see, what you would like to do. I want to find music. I'm looking for music, and Harratuk was like, yeah, that's fine. And Alena kind of like looking, I could really use like a new plate or something. And Erevan is like, like in true marksman fashion, right? I smell gunpowder. It's this way. And as Erevan leads you guys through the city, you are able to find this like hole in the wall shop. It's a lot less decorated than much of the other scenery. Around you guys, and you're very quickly able to pick up on not a caste system. That's really an extreme version of it, but every city has their socioeconomic differences, and this one is no different, despite its splendor. And you can tell very quickly that, just from passing conversation, the people built into the rocks, the more cave-like structures, are sort of lower rung. The people who, the lowest rung, I should say. The people who have their homes built from the rock, but not dug into it, that's a status all on its own. And then obviously the people who, the more materials you can bring in to build your elaborate palace, the better. And then there are sort of the dwellers on the ground who, they're sort of a mix of all three. They have materials that they can use to build their homes, but because they're sort of in this lowest level, in the main body of the city, the one that's on the floor, not actually in the mountains, it's kind of in a class of its own. Like, you've got the materials, but you don't really have the respect, but you're not looked down upon because you're actually in a cave. They're their own class. And Erevan picks up the very distinct scent that really only, because he has not shot yet, so only he knows that smell, and he can just barely pick it up in the wind. And he leads you guys through these streets, through the cities, as people are passing, and you can hear arguments going on here and there, as well as other more discussions going on with joviality and frivolity. And he comes upon this sort of, not literally hole-in-the-wall shop. It certainly looks to be an inferior wood frame with plaster walls, very cheap. It's kind of it's falling apart in some places. Couldn't be bigger than 30 by 30. Not too big, not too small. And you can see there's this old wood door barely hanging on a hinge. There are like charred edgings around the door. It sort of billows with the wind, and ka-clang, ka-clang. It hits its door frame with a gentle breeze. And you can hear someone working inside with the 22 in perception. He can hear very distinct sounds that he would know. He has seen Jack, and if you remember, one of the person that Jack looked up to, Ironsight, when they let me check Erevan's sheet real quick, because I believe he knew about the shop, but I want to make sure. He did. Okay. So, when Erevan and Jack would visit Ironsight, it was always at his shop. It was more of his private residence, but he always referred to it as a shop, so Jack could come to a singular spot and buy from it. The point, click, and bang. And Erevan hears this is a really weird song, so I'm going to skip this. Erevan can hear the distinct sound of those powders being very, very carefully mixed together. And as they roll through metal funnels, into static-free funnels, as they're rolling through these funnels and going into small cartridges, in those cartridges he can hear that little clank of an empty shell being moved from one spot to another as if to be prepared for that, as well as the sound of the shot in a metal bowl that would crumple around whenever you tried to grab some and fill your ammunition with it. All of his windows, you don't know if it's a him. All of the windows are boarded up. There's plenty of light coming from within, and you can definitely hear him. But he seems to be busy at the moment. But this is definitely the place where the smell is coming from.
Erevan's just gonna take a huge whiff.
Gunpowder. If you've been to a range, you know what I'm talking about. Very distinct.
Smells like freedom.
Yes. He can hear it, yeah. Let freedom ring, baby.
Was that a bald eagle?
Caw! Yeah. Chuck
No,
Norris.
I'm pretty sure that was an Aarakocra.
An eagle-like Eric Cochran, yes. Coincidentally with an American flag.
What is that?
Yeah.
Flags from.
Freedom. But anyway, yes, Erevan can, he definitely has that very familiar sense of smell.
I want to go inside.
Okay, yeah, so... so Erevan has this, like, big smile on his face as he, like opens the door, and almost immediately you see this kind of short-statured man who his feet aren't even reaching the floor as he's sitting on this old, practically burnt to char stool. He has a big cigar in his mouth, which you can determine is probably the source of many explosions, as evidenced by the chair, the walls, the floor, the door at this end, where there were once windows in this house. And Erevan is reasonably sure he doesn't live there anymore for obvious reasons. But yeah, he's got his big cigar in his mouth, and the door opens, and immediately he's got his own pistol pointed straight at Erevan. Wrong house, motherfucker.
Also, I thought this was a shop.
Why'd you think that?
I was told this is where the shops were.
You were told wrong.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
Rings out the side.
And I'm just going to move my duster and kind of flash my pistol. I was hoping we could have some talks.
He pulls out a second one. You better cover that back up.
Back up.
He'll put the second one away.
Do you make all this yourself?
Make a persuasion check, Daddy.
Oh Lord, not my best. Please be good to me. Nope, not 6. Not happening.
Do you know...
The Muffin Man?
No, fuck you. I was gonna give him possibly advantage, but now, never mind. No.
Damn it.
So you guys have gotten, I believe... Well, each of you has gotten a point of inspiration, I believe, and then Vinny gave you one, Adam? I think another time.
Yeah. That's right.
Do you?
Yeah, he gave me one for RP.
Do you know?
Yes.
That I've not.
I think you've used one, Somebody has used one. I don't remember who, but I think if you want to, obviously, that is available in your tool belt. Because I haven't told you the result yet.
Wait.
Yeah, I will use it because a 6 is no good. So
Use your advantage.
an 8.
Okay.
2 better.
Okay. Well, it's not a 6. So.
No. and I jingle my little pouch of 40 some odd gold. Ching ching ching.
So yes, as Erevan rolls a 6 on persuasion, he decides to reach for something in his possession. And oh god.
I'm not very persuasive.
So as Erevan begins to reach, he can hear the cocking of the pistol. Click, click. Don't reach for it, partner.
Not my pistol, I promise. Just something nice that you would like. I promise.
And he's looking at you. Don't reach for it. It's the last time I'm going to tell you. Close the door and get on out of here.
Erevan leaves.
Yeah. So you guys are, and you can hear the decocking. I believe you can decock a flintlock. I assume as long as it just doesn't strike the powder, you're good to go. But that's kind of a big if. With the anyway,
you can if you squeeze the trigger while holding it, you can ride the
that's what I was thinking.
ride it back to
Classic 1911 style.
Yes.
Yeah, Adam can hear, Erevan can hear the distinct, holstering of the weapon, and he very quickly goes back to mixing his powders. So, writing the 22, since that was quite a high perception check, Erevan, in a quick survey of the shop, he could see no completed weapons, I'll say. At least not in the area he could see. But he did see several sets of parts. And one of the pistols, not actually both of them, but one of the ones that he was using was very well made. The Erevan could tell at a glance. The shaping of the pistol, the sound that the metal made, very high quality parts. He could see some gilding, but the pistol was rather blackened over. It doesn't look like he takes very good care of it, but Erevan could see the diamond in the rough, nonetheless. But you can hear him going back to his work, and you four are...
I'm just going to yell in before I leave. If you'd like to make some gold, just let me know.
There's a pause. And you hear...
I will have plenty.
You hear... Thump, 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 thump. He opens the door. Readjusts his cigar. How much gold we talking?
Well, currently, I've got, about 10 or 20 on me. I'm not looking to say that that's what your stuff is worth, but in the future, I would like to...
check.
I would like to, hopefully bring more, but...
Make a deception check. Pretty low DC since it's not a huge lie.
Be good to me, Dice. 14.
That's the thing that Erevan can do is lie about money. So he, you can see he's, since Karl is the shortest one here, he looks to be about Karl's height. Maybe I'm gonna be able to recognize it's a halfling. I'm gonna be able to recognize at a glance.
Yes.
So, being much closer up to him, he definitely has a very wide, scrunched face. Looks like he's been smoking cigars his entire life. Thick wrinkles all around his face. Kind of scruffy around the jowls. and he's got this short, maybe an inch long hair all around that just points straight out in every direction. What you need?
Well,
Sorry, he's actually looking like way up at you.
in the future, or even now, I would like to hopefully buy shot from you and potentially even weapons, if you are willing to do so in the future. Because I don't have a lot now, and I think that your work is definitely more valuable than 10 or 20 gold. So I would hopefully like to be able to maybe work out some things where we can perhaps make some good deals. For instance, right now I have some shot, and it does certain, damage, but maybe we can figure something out to where it does other types of damage to people. Perhaps maybe give them a little bit of a shock,
He looks you up and down. He looks everybody up and down. Because there's like Alena and Angene, hi. There's fucking Harratuk like eating like mutton. There's Karl. Alright.
And if you make things other than, pistols and rifles and stuff, I'm sure my friends would love some weapons as well. We do like sharp, pointy things.
He'll cut you off. What you carrying? Show me again.
I will open up my duster and show him. Do you want to maybe step inside and I'll let you take a look at it so that we're not outside, getting in trouble for drawing this? Okay.
And he gestures like, let me see it.
I pull it out and hand it to him.
So I'll give him a dexterity check. Pretty good. So to the Erevan knows what he's doing, because this is a weapon system Erevan has practiced with for hours and hours and hours. He's done this in the dark. He's done it in the wet. He's done it in the cold. Erevan knows his weapon system. Everybody else, not really. So to the rest of you, you just kind of see this like whoosh motion as he like does this thing, and Erevan's like, "Holy!" He just unloaded that thing in half a second. And so he you can see he's got like the round in one hand in his finger. I don't have like a gun shaped object here, so this is the gun. He in half a second he's holding the little shell, because he has a pistol, I believe, and that can hold so many, but he's got one of the rounds. And he scrunches his face at it. Blows some of his cigar smoke out. Just pulls the hammer back like tick, 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 tick. This is a well-made pistol. The ammo shit. Pistol's not bad. Blows cigar smoke. Make you a deal.
Elena coughs a little bit.
Yeah. Alena is way above the smoke for what it's worth, but she can definitely at least smell the tobacco and gunpowder.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. He looks around him. You try out these rounds for me. Tell me how they do. We'll be in business. But
Sounds
knock
good to me.
next time.
Will do, sir. And I toss him a gold anyways.
Ching! And he he tries to contain himself. Puts that away very carefully. The most careful thing he handles in a shop full of guns and explosives is a gold coin. He puts it away.
I want to give that to you, as a show of good faith, because I'm sure I'll be back, and I would love to do business.
The name's Cade.
Nice to meet you, Cade. I'm Erevan.
Erevan, nice to meet you. Knock next time, and don't come back until I know what those do. Until you know what those do. And
Will do, sir.
He'll so kind of a technical question for Erevan. Is his pistol, is it like a breach action? Or is it more like revolver where the cylinder comes out?
It's more like a revolver. So it's kind of, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So he's got the cylinder out, and he hands that to you, and clink clink clink, hands you back all the ammo.
Takes it quickly, puts everything back in, puts it holstered, and then latches it back over.
Yep.
So that it's secure. So that way, no trouble is made. I appreciate it.
So yeah, he was like closing the door, and he like, that's not bad. Yeah, and then he shuts the door.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and Erevan, so Adam, you can choose kind of whenever, when Erevan wants to load. There are 3 rounds.
Okay.
They look similar enough to the current rounds he already has. Maybe they're neck down a little bit or a little up. He can't see the shot, but they're distinct enough to where he knows that they are different from the rest.
Okay. But still appropriate caliber, because obviously he
Yes.
would know what to give me.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Hence the inspection.
Erevan doesn't need an insight check. He is very sure that this guy knows what he was doing.
I will actually take those 3 rounds and put them into my belt, where it has like
a
rounds
bandolier.
or like the little loops for just individual rounds, so that I have those just like around my waist belt.
Yeah.
So that way I have my special rounds available to me when needed.
And going easy enough. So
Mark that gold off too.
as you guys make your way away from this shop, Erevan is like, oh yeah, by the way, Alena, totally passed a kind of a general shop, by the way. But wanted to see this one first. Wanted to follow the smell. Because 22 is pretty good. 22 is pretty good.
I guess we can go check that shop out now.
I'll go
I don't know
with you.
exactly what I'm looking for, but
I'm down. I'm looking for a pipe.
Like
I'm
a
just-
shotgun, like a barrel pipe.
No.
No,
Like a
I know,
smoking pipe.
I know.
I feel like I
Set it
picked
down,
that
pipe.
up probably. I feel like I picked that up from my teacher and such.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say specifically from that guy, and I was like, all the
No.
explosion marks weren't like enough visually for you.
No. That's why this is not cigars. It's just a pipe. Okay.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, and as you guys are departing, like, you're far enough away, you just hear like a boom. Damn it! As you guys are walking towards the shop that Erevan had seen, it was called Skaggles by the not his place, the shop that the general shop, Skaggles.
Gaggles, love it.
You guys do pass upon a group of 3 relatively distinct looking people. My notes did not update fully.
Roughly what time of day is it?
At this point, it's probably maybe like 1, 2,
In the
just
afternoon?
like midday, yeah.
Okay.
As you guys are continuing on through the streets, you see a rather eclectic group of people who are sitting by arguing with each other rather loudly. They're not hidden in any way. They're kind of they're out in the open, and you can see a group of people just going around them like, yeah, just let them argue. The conversation that you can hear, the holy leaders are losing the people's money. There are 3 people, I should say. That was the first. Pointing at a person who is ornately dressed in what look to be robes with the left flamed hand pointing, so you guys know that is the faith for the god of mages, or wizards, I should say. He is being accused of losing the people's money, and he points. He's pointing to a rather shabby-looking person who appears to be some kind of a farmer, has very distinct facial features, kind of sharp cheekbones and half-pointed ears. Alena knows that, like, it's Alena knows half-elves. It's a half. Alena knows half-elves.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of in shabby clothing, but dressed warmly nonetheless. And the holy person is looking at that one, saying, "You're only saying that because you're hungry. The damn mages in the university are your problem." And the farmer responding back very sharply, I'm sorry, not the farmer. There is a third individual who appears to be in a very well-dressed pinstripe suit, bald, monocle, the whole thing. "The mages are doing what they can with the cavern situation." And that is what you guys are able to discern as you're passing them. It is your choice whether or not you engage.
Angene is just going to go ahead and, yeah, I'll just, "Hey everybody, which all the hubbub bubs?"
It's all a hubbub. And the three of them, "No, it's you, no, it's you." And the farmer or the shabby-looking individual and the very well-dressed, suited individual, they both kind of turn and take a step away so they can keep arguing as the white-robed holy figure, very loose white robes with the symbol of the flame over their heart. Sorry. Takes a second to calm himself. "Forgive me, child." And you guys can see this is a humanoid-looking individual, very pale skin, similar to the guard, very pale skin, bald, nothing significant about their ears, more than likely human. Very bright blue eyes. "Forgive me, child. We're having a boisterous disagreement about a few problems that are persisting in our city. We did not mean to disrupt." And they're all like looking around now, like, "Oh, everybody can see this. We did not mean to disrupt the peace. Azuth, forgive me for doing such a thing."
"Oh, well, is there anything that, what seems to be the problem?"
And
I heard something about money, and I was just...
The bald man in the pinstripe suit, "I'll tell you what the problem is. It's the mages. The mages are the ones causing all the issues." And the priest, "The mages are not the issue. They may be a contributing factor, I will grant you, but they're not the only one." He leaves in a huff as the bald man steps back aside with the shabby-looking individual. So the priest again. "Please forgive my friend's outbursts. I am Father Dakra. I am the minister of one of the fine chapels dedicated to Azuth in the city. There are many issues plaguing us at the moment. There are," and he looks at the shabby individual, "many people who are blaming the faith for the misallocation of their tithes, which I can assure you is no such thing. That is one issue. The hunters, and he gestures to the shabby-looking individual. The hunters are blaming the mages, and he gestures to the sky, for the current weather situation. The winter months were supposed to be over at this point, and for some unknown reason they are holding it to this climate. And my well-to-do friend here, he works for... So I want to make sure I get this one. This one's a really long name. He works for the Locomotive Registry and Destination Bureau. They have had to halt their mining operations, also due to a warning from the mages. From what are they called? Please help me out. And he shouts from over a side. From the seismic shifts beneath the earth. Sorry, there is no earth. Beneath the mountains. That. And so, with their particular situation, since it is the Bureau, they must wait on proper... Come over here. Why am I explaining your situation? And he steps over very haughtily. Yes, well, you see, the Bureau, we provide our own materials for the allocation of the trains and the rails throughout Camarilla, yes. There has been a recent halting in our resource acquisition due to different seismic shifts in the landscape, as they come from a warning from the fine geological mages at the university. Because we are the Bureau, and we are ran by the Masonic defenders, they must wait for proper plans and financing before they can move into the mines. Which leaves me in a terrible predicament of losing a great deal of money every hour.
Oh.
Yes. These fine and exquisite clothes do not provide themselves. And our progress with the trains must continue.
Well,
I say, you all look like a relatively well-equipped band of adventurers. What say you help one of us out? So, player choice. There are 3 things you guys are able to help with. You can choose the order. Shoo. Jeez, I almost knocked over my water. So the bald, very well-dressed man who is a representative of the Bureau is Den Skendleton. And I'll put all these names in the chat after the session. Den Skendleton. He is looking to hire... excuse me, good lord. He's looking to hire a private group of not mercenaries, but you get where I'm going, a private band to go into the mines and investigate what the mages are reporting about, since he has to wait who knows how long before he will get approval from the state and from the guard to actually go in and do it themselves. And you guys get the sense that the state's relation to this particular cavern is separate from the university mages' affiliation with the cavern. They're acting on the will of the mages. So I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
The hunter that you guys see, the shabbily dressed one, he is a little bit darker skin. He's got dreadlocks that are pulled to the back of his head. It doesn't go beyond his neckline, and he wears a variety of furs. he is directly blaming the mages for the current season. And so this is kind of news to all of you that the seasons are anything but natural and practically mundane, is that they are influenced in some way. And he is making the argument that the mages, their times, whatever they're working on, is secondary in importance to the hunters, to the he makes it clear that there are a number of them, to the large group of hunters that rely on proper seasonal weather so they can go out and hunt and provide and sell. And the holy leader, Father Dakra, has been, he as well as a few of the other religious institutions have been accused of misallocating the people's tithes. And he is asking you to, one, actually check the institutions to make sure this isn't going on, and then to see where it is this accusation might be coming from. I posed this question to Matt about which of these things he thinks Karl would actually support, and Karl is his hat is in the basket for checking the mines out first, because he thinks he can be of quite a bit of service in that area. Hello, Robert. Thank you for tuning in. Go ahead, Vinny.
I'm gotta say I'm kind of interested in these trains, so I would imagine the mines as well for me.
I agree with that, but something's going on, and I think that's the more urgent one that would need to be solved. The weather being a second.
The hunter does not like that response.
It's second. It's not last. Sorry.
The minister likes that even less.
Well,
So
he's accusing stealing money from people. It's a lot of cultures.
the hunter wants us to investigate the college mages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that one is very apparent as I wouldn't say the most difficult task, but it would certainly be well, no, it'd probably be the most difficult task. There's really no other way of phrasing it.
And what does the third one want to do? Check the institution.
There was checking the mines.
Yep.
Going to the university to talk to the mages about changing the weather, and then the third one is 2 in 1 rather. It is checking the local religious and spiritual institutions to see that they are not misallocating tithes, and to find, if you can, who is making these accusations against them.
Yeah, one sounds more fun.
You guys are talking amongst yourselves at this point, so it sounds like Alena and Karl are on the same page. And which one was Harratuk voting for?
The mines.
Also the mines. Okay. Erevan, did he have any differing opinion?
He has no preference
No preference.
as long as we get things done.
Okay.
Huh.
So yeah, the Den, he is rather elated to hear that. And so he goes, excellent. Yeah, where are we? He's looking around. I say, Wabu, was that your name? Wasco. Yes. Which way is north? And like, you guys and pretty much everybody else around, like, like it's very environmentally apparent which way north is, because you guys are right next to the mountain, and the mountain is always west. It indicates west. Ah, yes, of course. Well, let's get out of this dreadful cold. Where are you staying?
I can't remember. We were. I was under the impression that we were staying with Sindri. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
you were, or you are, waiting for word from Sindri or DeLorean about where Nero Evander is, and if he can work out a housing situation.
The housing situation is a bit fluid, if you will, but we're expecting a room. We'll know soon enough. As of right now, as we do not have a solidified answer on where that would be.
Curious. Very well. Does anyone have paper? And the mage, I'm sorry, the minister who represents the faith of the mages, or faith in mages, rather, produces a very fine piece of paper, and as well as pen and ink. How can a man with so much money be so ill-prepared? And he begins writing these things down. There you are. He'll hand this piece of paper to any one of you, doesn't matter. It is directions onto where the mine is. Do not lose this piece of paper. Many people would like to know where the mines lie. Do not let this fall into the wrong hands. Kindly.
Okay. I'm gonna reach out and take it, and I'm gonna look at the directions and kind of just try and okay, and then I'm gonna hand that to Erevan, because I feel like Erevan,
the tracker, yeah.
yeah, the best suited to hold on to things of sensitive nature.
I will take that and put it away in a very safe pocket.
A secure pocket. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So
on the inside of my coat.
So yeah, Erevan puts that away, and I do love this song as well, but it is very distracting as a background piece. Erevan he takes a look at it, and each of you guys know now that the mines are hidden along the northern rung of the crescent shape of the city in the mountains. And there is also a note from him to, you can see the note is addressed to, to the guard whom it may concern. This is my express written permission to allow these, specifically you 5, and he gives a very brief description, specifically you 5, into the mines to investigate what is going on, and then he has a means of stamping the paper that does not require, like a candle and wax and holding it on the paper. He has a means of stamping the paper without needing to do that. This will get you into the mines, no problem. The guards will not stop. They will stop you and ask for your proper documentation, but they should not keep you for very long. And at the end, if you're able to get these mines opened back up, I will pay you handsomely.
Oh,
wonderful. That's what I love to hear. We will get the mines back open.
Excellent. That is good news. That is very good news. And just as you guys are beginning to make this deal, how is his handwriting? Elegant.
Does the rule about unsheathing weapons count in the mines? What if there's something dangerous in there?
Oh. He looks at Erevan. May I see that piece of paper again, please?
I pull out the paper and hand it to him.
He makes a final note. What would he say?
We're called the Ring Breakers, by the way.
And all three of them kind of like look up.
That's our name.
That's rather a cool name. I like that.
Thank
He
you.
writes down, to the Ring Breakers. Weapons free for their duration within the mines. Do not prosecute.
What?
That will get you.
What? Huh?
Thank you very much.
And 1, 2, 3 is Erevan.
Oh,
As you guys are talking to him, you guys, Erevan can. He like stops and looks around. What? Did anybody else hear that? And none of you guys heard anything, or nothing that he would have spoken about. Erevan can hear very distinctly, in sort of the back of his mind, the voice of DeLorean, almost like it's coming into range, for really lack of a better description. Erevan, or anyone, can you hear me?
hello?
Ah, there you are. Where are you?
Talking to somebody about the... Wait. I'm not sure. Alena, where are we?
I'm not sure.
We're
More towards the southern end of the city.
I will relay that. I will relay that.
Ah, well, that explains why I was able to find you so quickly. I see you.
Yes!
Turn around, Erevan.
Turn around.
You guys can see DeLorean.
Hello.
He has like he has a number of like thick fabric materials over his shoulders. He walks up to you guys. So each of you gets a warm winter coat. This will keep you warm. This will keep you suitably warm for the duration of your time within the city. You can decide if you want to put your own flavor text onto it, if it's fur-lined or if it's color matching to your outfit, or hell, if it's camo. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Is mine a fur-lined duster?
I think yours is just fur for your duster. Like,
Oh, okay, yeah, that works.
and Erevan's like, oh, that's toasty.
I like it.
I can't remember when we were getting kitted out of with our kits, with our setup and everything. Did we get armor or anything of that nature?
It was your so if you were making like a fresh character and you have the choice of managing your own equipment or money, you would have taken the starting equipment. So if that, whatever the default is on D&D Beyond,
Okay.
if it came with armor, yes. If it didn't,
Yes.
then no.
I think.
yeah, the chainmail's getting kind of cold right now.
It's very cold.
Yeah.
Like the cold is starting to sink through like her under layers of clothing.
Give me 1 second. Sorry.
I muted my Discord.
Okay,
to
yes.
specifically thank you for that subscription.
As a matter of
See you.
curiosity, so I got leather, but
And I love you.
quite frankly, I am not one for leather armor.
You, Vinny, or Angene?
Me as an individual,
Okay.
would I be able to reflavor that as padded armor? It costs 5 gold less, anyways.
Sure. I mean, it in terms of
It's the same stats.
So
I get
So, let me answer it this way. The items that you guys have, generally speaking, when you get them, if it aesthetically is not what you want or envision for your character, you can change it to whatever you want.
Okay.
Like,
So-
you don't have to like explore the city looking for somebody to dye it the right color. You certainly can, but that's kind of, you know, that feels like tedious RP to a degree.
Right.
To
No, I totally-
make you do that. I am all for it if you want to do that. All for it. But yes, if you receive something and you're like, wouldn't this be cooler if it was like padded leather? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it would.
I am
Same
thinking
stats.
more.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. I'm thinking more in the lines of a gambeson, like padded armor.
I don't know
So-
what that is.
You don't know what a gambeson is?
I don't think I mean, maybe I've seen one, but I've never heard it referred to as such.
It's typically it's like arming, an arming shirt, if you've ever heard that term. But it's like if you've ever seen like medieval, especially old medieval, they have like that almost like a quilt formed into. It's got like the cross stitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is actually a much better armor than leather armor in real life. It is way better. Gambesons are a significantly better armor than leather.
In terms of like strictly, I guess to use D&D verbiage, like piercing, slashing, hacking, or just in general.
It's just in general.
Okay, because arrows, like that sharp piercing would kind of make sense.
But yeah, so, and especially slashing. But yeah, no, for me, and with that option, I can be like, well, then that's my winter coat, because it looks a little bit, it is typically more comfy.
Sure.
So that's what I'll just be wearing. I'll just be wearing that.
Literally. Sorry, I'm trying to get songs that aren't like vocally demanding of your attention, and like the next 6 I got were all very like, God, Beautiful Death is like 50% of the playlist and I couldn't get one. But yes, Angene has that cross-stitch quilted pattern, very warm leathery, or I'm sorry, not leather, quilted pattern look to him. Alena, would she, do you have any, or Kyle, do you have any flavor text for Elena's gear?
Fur coat.
Fur coat? Nice, nice blue and gray fur.
Yep. Chainmail's not tight, but not loose, just, it's chainmail.
It fits, yeah.
It fits.
Harratuk? I just imagined a giant fucking cloak. Like...
Yeah, big cloak, and I can't have a hood, but I'll have like, in the snow or the wind, I'll have a big scarf. Or, you know, like I can wrap around my head even.
Yeah, just the horns. Oh god, that's like daunting. Like if everything were covered, like except the horns, like holy shit. And Erevan has his fur-lined duster now. Excellent. Yes. So, moving forward a little bit, so we get to where I want to get to. You guys are in the southern area of the, for lack of a better word, it's the main part of the city that rests on the actual floor of the countryside rather than being in the mountain. And you guys can see the parts that are in the mountain are relatively broken up into 3 areas. There is the back, the main part of the mountain. That's where you guys know the university is. There is the top arm of the crescent, where you guys know the tunnels are, and where a lot of trains seem to be going, so you get the sense that that's where a lot of that's, you guys can discern from the name locomotive registry, that's probably where the trains go to be registered, as well as where the mines are, so it's probably all in one area. And you guys are in the southern area of that bottom flat space. So the southern arm of the city, the crescent, is where a DeLorean tells you they are going. And you guys know that, just based on your observations, that the people who are dug into the mountainsides are supposed to be the sort of the lowest rung of the socioeconomic ladder, and more or less looked down upon. And where he takes you to meet Sindri is Nero's Nero is his living space, and that you guys can stay there for a few days while you guys get acclimated to the city and make some money before he'll actually Nero will just kick you out and you'll be on your own. So Nero's pad is built into the mountain, but even just getting to his particular den in the southern side of the ring of the mountains, he is built into the mountains. There are several entryways into his home, which you get the vibe immediately is highly unusual for this kind of abode. And each doorway has gilded archways with the same kind of very fine granite you saw at the opening gates. Each of them have those granite backlays with their white columns. The frames themselves and literally everything has a very thin gilding around the edges to really just add some extra flair to it. Inside, as DeLorean brings you inside, you guys see that there is this very posh and elegant soiree going on. And you get the feeling at all times. Many people are dressed in very fine silks. And as soon as you guys crest the threshold, again, you can feel that sound dampening, the temperature not lowering, actually raising, so it's getting warmer. You guys can feel that same sensation going on, and people are schmoozing. They have cigarettes on the elongated sticks that I don't actually know what they do other than just look fancy, so you don't have to touch a cigarette. Many of them have very fine martini glasses, and some of them are like ting to test the quality of the glass, and it is very fine. And you see Sindri. you guys do see Sindri. He is off in the corner, and he is drunk off of his tiny gnome ass. And he doesn't see you guys come in, but DeLorean kind of turns to you guys. You're going to see Sindri in a very different light. He is still Sindri. Please be respectful. Have a few drinks, if you'd like. Try not to cause a stir. These are very upscale people, and they... he looks at Harratuk, who is like fucking... what's that shit called? Not like a mummy, but close enough. With his horn sticking out. These are very posh individuals, and they may not react well to our... I don't know a word for it. Let's just try and be quiet and be as small as possible and not get in the way.
I look at the rest of our group, and I just look back at him, and I'm like, more as... Carl, I think he means you. Go talk to people.
No, I don't think he meant that. I think he meant we should be small, like, as a presence.
Okay. Fair enough. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's not...
Still.
That's not funny either.
Still, I don't know how we're not going to stick out, but okay.
Yes, and then you guys can hear Sindri calling from the corner. There they are. The ring breakers. Come here. Come here.
I go ahead and come on
here.
over.
Yeah. You guys are already there, and he's like still gesturing, and you can see him standing next to this. Posh isn't quite the right word. So, in the Renaissance era, when you see like portraits of them in their various like obscene colorations, those color displays were just a way to kind of flare their wealth. The more colors you had, the finer the fabric, the more access to colorations they had, the more expensive the garb, and that's how you showed it off. You just fucking wore it everywhere. Like, look at my wealth adorned upon me. And that is what you see in human manifestation. So you do see yet another a very pale-skinned human. He has short, curly black hair. Or, I'm sorry. Let me make sure I get this right. Yes. He does. He is actually a half elf. I think I said he looks human, but he has half elf ears that you can see. He has very short, curly black hair, and there are a few streaks, kind of here and there, of this garnet coloration. It's not very prominent in his hair. You get the sense because it's so short, but it is there. He has very fine facial features, wearing a little bit of mascara under the eyes, or eyeliner. Eyeliner is on the actual eye. Mascara is eyelashes. He's holding a drink in his hands. He has royal purple clothing with those puffy sleeves and the coloration sort of between the puffs. He's wearing those very high white socks and those and polished black shoes with a buckle going across the foot. Welcome. I am Nero. And who are you? Entertain me with your introductions, please.
Erevan's gonna bow and remove his hat and say, "My name is Erevan Amakiir."
Erevan Amakiir. I like this one. He's like sloshing his drink everywhere. I like this one. You sit next to me.
Uh-oh. He sits down because he was told to.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't brush up against you. You sit next to him on this this white marble benching. And would you like a drink, Erevan?
No, thank you, sir.
And you, mysterious creature with the horns, who has my fascination.
I take off my scarf off my face or whatever. Okay.
Oh,
I say, I'm Harratuk.
He's beastly. I love it. What else? Tell me more. Harratuk. I like a name with a lot of horror to it. Go on, tell me more. As somebody is pouring his drink for him.
I'm a minotaur.
Yes.
I'm an ex-slave.
An ex-slave? How eccentric. Nero. What? He's Nero. Cinder, why didn't you mention... I'll ask later. How did you escape your slavitude? How were you liberated?
We were set free.
Well, I can rather put those particular pieces together, my dear boy. Was there a grand battle that took place? Did you fend them off with your adornments, or did you crush them with your might? I need the detail. He's elbowing Erevan as if he doesn't already have the details. He's just making me wait. I like this one.
Harratuk looks to the others you guys want to turn?
We'll put a bookmark in this chapter.
Erevan whispers to Nero, "He's a little bit shy."
Oh, would you care for a drink? This will open you up, but not in that way. although it could. Would you care for a drink?
Sure.
Excellent. Martha? And just, like, this hand, like, behind you offers you like, a stein. Tastes okay. You're expecting a little bit higher quality, but it's okay. Excellent. We'll come back to you. And Erevan is purple. Okay, I had to check the chart. And green one. He looks at Erevan again in like his duster. I love green.
Me too.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
My name is Angene Artenskuld. I likewise was a slave amongst the people of Ilui Vale, and I've come here. I'm trying to make my way back home to Nekeb.
I love Nekeb. It is such a beautiful city. Yes, one of my... Where might he be? He travels. He likes to come around every now and then. He plays private shows for me when he's here. He is an excellent player.
Would you happen to be referring to a Ewan Falanon?
Yes, you know him. Of course, he was quite prominent in Nekeb.
Yes,
So
he's
he
a close
says.
family friend.
So he says.
Oh, he is a wonderful, wonderful musician.
He like looks like he's gonna give his drink to Erevan, and then he sets it down, and he stands up. He's how tall is Angana?
6'7".
He's nowhere near Angana. He's more near Elena's height, Elena's new height, I should say. And so he'll come up and he'll take Angana's hand like between his own. I am elated that his stories now have merit. Is it true? He like looks around. Is it true he could seduce anyone under the sun?
Oh, goodness. I mean, I would assume so.
He tells these stories, and I don't know if I can believe. He is very charming, but I don't know if I can believe them.
Oh, if they're coming from you, and he is a person of upstanding moral verisimilitude.
I'll keep that in mind next time I have him play in my court. It has been some months since I've seen him. I do hope he makes it back very soon. They do their traveling thing. I'm not one for a whole lot of moving, unless of course it's on the dance floor, in which case I can't stop myself from moving.
Perhaps Angana should play for you, sir.
Angana. You play?
Indeed.
What is your instrument of choice?
A viol.
I don't think I have any of those on hand. I will keep an eye out for one.
Angana has one.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps.
Mm-hmm.
I keep it strapped to myself. Okay, I was just making sure.
Yep.
I go ahead and just reach behind me and Jake.
Hi, Jake.
And I go ahead and pull it out. Just like I'm always on standby for playing music.
Literally, almost literally, anime sparkles, dude. He is so happy. I'm going to devote 110% of my attention to you in a moment. Miss. Looking at Alena. Before I am serenaded by this wonderful man. Man?
Yes.
Man. What is your name?
My name's Alena.
And Erevan, only I think all of you guys are pretty captured on Nero at this point. Erevan can see visible confusion on DeLorean's face. Like, Like, okay. Like, Alena, you know? And,
No, I thought it was Alana.
because I was very careful not to have Sindri like reference that like on the whole trip because I wanted this to happen so bad. Not specifically this interaction, but that dynamic. And he, you know, the classic like, I don't know if there's a name for this particular gesture, but where he like extends his hand like to wait for yours. You know what I mean?
I'll kind of place my hand there, but Elena's not used to that kind of flattery, so she's kind of apprehensive.
Oh yeah, he'll take her hand very gently, and he'll reach in, he'll put one hand behind his back and kiss the top of her hand.
Oh my!
It is wonderful to make your acquaintance, Miss Alena.
It's wonderful to make yours as well.
And he gives her a long glance. Tell me, is there? I'm sorry. What was your name? Your last name?
Everwinter.
Beautiful name. Is there a Mr. Everwinter?
No.
Oh, then there are some people here I am dying for you to meet. Picks his drink back up. Like,
thank you.
Like looking around.
I think.
You'll thank me later, I guarantee it. Now, who wants to hear some juicy gossip? Anyone?
I'm here.
And Sindri is still like... right here. Hush. So, and you guys already know the dynamic that's going on between, not between the bureau, the religious, and the farmers, but it's more in relation to them. Word around the fountain is that the mages of the university are keeping the weather cold for political reasons, but keep that one quiet.
We've actually heard about that.
From whom?
From Father Dakra? I don't remember if I wrote that correctly. Probably not. The minister.
Dakra, yes.
Dakra, yeah.
Well, how did he know? Blast. Well, here's a little bit more then, because now you have my attention. Apparently, it is well known that there are some ill relations between Fury Keep and Dragon's Vale. Apparently, Fury Keep may be considering some moves to the ill advisement of Dragon's Vale. What that may be or what that may entail is anyone's guess, of course, but I am very excited to find out more because, conflict is so delicious. But keep that one under your hat. I don't want that one getting out and getting back to me, of course.
Of course.
Thank you. You are free, of course, to stay here for a few days, but rooms are in rather high demand for my parties, you understand. Please do not occupy the space for more than 24 hours, if you wouldn't mind.
That can be arranged.
Excellent. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I do not.
Wonderful. Well, if you have other plans, please feel free to mingle and schmooze. Alena, I have your name and number. Don't worry, I'll find a suitable man for you as soon as I find him. It may take me a while.
This might not really into men, per se.
And he stops. He puts his hands on his waist. No.
I mean, I am, but there's already someone for me.
And Sindri. he pulls on Nero's garb. That's my boy.
Ugh. It's not evil.
I know that. And so, Alena, I feel like she's bright red at this point.
Yep.
And, DeLorean, or Sindri is just like, he's more red flushed, like from the alcohol, rather than like rose, like Elena's pure rose red. But Nero, okay. I'll figure it out. Don't worry.
Angene is just standing there like,
Yes. It is so hard to remember the name of help these days. I want to say Candy? Kathy. Please assemble the court. We have a show waiting for us. You may begin at any time, and they will come, and we will sit and chat and enjoy and drink and have a good night. Or you're free to leave as well. I'm not holding you here.
all right, well, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start playing.
Give me a performance check, big boy. Is this your first one as a bard?
As a bard in full, yes.
Give it to me.
Nice.
18.
Ooh.
Oh, no, it didn't work. I was gonna say like veal my, but I,
Viola.
Viola. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, there is an excellent performance of probably somewhat chill vibes coming from just soiree music. As
Indeed.
As you guys play a bit into the night, you guys can decide if you'd hang around for a few hours and meet some of the upper crust on the lower rung, or if you'd prefer to go to bed. It was rather a long journey. We'll decide that in next session. So you guys have your direction. This was the big radial dial. Which quest would you like to choose? Because they all extend into very different areas of the city. They're all going to reach into very different networks and all the stuff. So, welcome to Fury Keep. I hope my descriptions were ample and vivid. I love this fucking city.
Hell yeah.
And I'm really looking forward
I'm
to it.
excited.
So you guys chose the Bureau in the Mines. So yes, okay.
In the mines.
And so the other quests, just like any RPG, you guys can kind of work on them as you guys see fit. But obviously I'll be more geared towards that one. Not that I won't be unprepared for the other two, however, should they take that turn.
Because I feel like they all kind of affect each other.
Yeah.
That's my goal. And different things will happen over the duration of the time that they take to complete. All the things, trying to make this city feel alive as best as I can.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
But because I definitely feel like I definitely want to check out the mages and the weather bit after the mine stuff, because that does intrigue me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
I'm very excited. So I am going to say goodbye to the stream. So those of you who stopped by to say hi and lurk or whatever, thank you for stopping by. Hope it was fun for you guys as well. These particular dudes will be back in 2 weeks on Saturday rather than Sunday. This was just kind of a special weekend. And then Group 2 will be back for their Session 12 for their first episode in the city on this coming Friday. So thank you for stopping by. Hope you have a good rest of your night.